What's up guys? Today for this video I'm going to be covering how to build these spiraling copper bulb designs that you see behind me. This one here, this first one that I'm going to be showing you, is pretty scalable. You can have it be anywhere from, so for here, if you see how this side has these 4 blocks, you can have it as small as it being 3 of those there. Or you can have it be as big as you want. You can have it be 10 blocks, you can have it be 30 blocks. I mean, at that point, I feel like that's a little big, you know? But if you're wanting something smaller, if you want to get it down to 2 blocks for those sides, then what you could do is this design here that I'll show after. You have to do things a little differently to keep it compact without anything weird happening. So let's get into it. Alright, so the bare essentials that you need for this build are copper bulbs, observers, as these two are quite popular on my channel so far, considering my last build that I have over there. You also need redstone dust and any kind of block, just for the sake of it standing out, I'm using light blue wool. And then for later, when we do the compact design, you'll also need target blocks. And then, again, you can do like a etho hopper clock or something like that for the for your design, but we'll also be setting up a basic little hopper clock again later on. So this time around, for the actual blocks needed for the contraption, it's a little bit more than the previous one, but this opens up a lot of decorational ideas, and you can fill in the gaps on it however you want to. So to get started, for this, I personally like to place the first layer of copper bulbs first. For this, I'm going to do with a flat side being 4 blocks. And then, just so that I have a reference point, I'm going to do the second layer as well. Now from here, what I like to do is I like to place I like to place these observers here, like so. And then, to get it started, I do this one, this one, this one, and then this one. So, in this case, I'm just replacing those copper bulbs. But essentially what this does is, so I'm not going to place it right next to it. Well, yeah, I will. So, kind of using similar concept to the last build video, this first observer watches this redstone signal, which is going to be coming from the little hopper clock I mentioned earlier, and then that will be watched by this one, and then this one, and then this one, and this one, and each of these here will be watching this pulse go along. Now, where this design starts to get interesting is when we get to going up a level. So here, what I do is, and there's a few, while I was trying to figure out this design, I found that there was multiple methods. Personally though, I like this way the most. It's the most simplest while also keeping things as like individually lit as I can. There might be a way to improve it a bit more, but this is what I'm going with. So essentially what's happening here is this observer is watching the last one in the row from below it, and then it's sending a redstone signal up to here. Now, what we want for that redstone signal is we want to get to this one. Now, how we can do that is, so by default, the reason why I'm not just having it be like this here is, as you will see, for whatever reason, redstone signal does not want to move down an observer like that. So that is, but if we place a block here and then the redstone dust on top, then we will see that it does travel this block how we want. So that's why I have it that way. Now for this portion of it, this is why it gets a little trickier when you do smaller scale, like I was mentioning earlier, and you need to start using those target blocks. It's essentially because everything is so close that the redstone dust signals will kind of get too close to each other and start crossing wires, but the target blocks are super handy because you can achieve a very similar connection just by doing this, and it helps prevent the wires getting crossed. So now I'm just going to continue that previous design a little bit. So the only difference for this design is going to be the first layer. Essentially what happens is for the second and the rest of the layers is these first two observers here get replaced with one block of any kind and observer that's pointing in a different direction, and then those get the redstone dust on top. So now I'm gonna do these ones like so. So these ones are watching that other row of observers. So now as we see, it sends a signal along just fine. So I'm gonna add just a couple more layers of this, and then I'm gonna and I'll have that time lapsed if I figure out how to do that in editing. And then I'll show you guys the result, and then after that we'll get into that smaller design. Alright, so of course you can have this be essentially as tall as you want, but I'm just going to stop the build here for this one, so I'm not wasting anybody's time. So essentially what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to set up that hopper clock like earlier. So I'm going to do this, then that, and then I'm going to do this, and then let's place one redstone dust in there. So now, as you see, we have a similar pulsating pattern like we did on my previous build over here, where it'll have that kind of rotating motion, but the handy thing about this is you can have it kind of moving up a building or something else in a build. For me personally, I'm using it for a lighthouse design, and I feel like that's pretty fitting for it being a lighthouse. Especially since lighthouses, I feel like, have some kind of like spiraling effect in them, you know, at least like stereotype. So now I'm going to show you guys the smaller, more compact version that I was mentioning. So I'm going to start with placing these copper bulbs here so that we have a reference. So I'm just going to start with that so I can move around easily still. So I'm going to start placing the observers. Oops. There we go. And then do this, and that, and these. So as you can see, it's pretty much, so far it's exactly the same design as earlier. But as you will see in a second, things get a little trickier. So I'm just going to do this layer. And as you can see, if I do this, it's moving pretty much exactly the same. So I'm just gonna, whoops. It's a little tricky to turn these off sometimes. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. So now, where it gets tricky is if we, so as I was mentioning earlier, if we essentially repeat the dust design here, what happens is now when this one down here gets powered, it also sends the signal up to here. So that's not good. So my solution for this is, instead of having redstone dust there, what I do is I have a target block. So as you will see, when we do that, it still creates a nice smooth animation without any doubling in the signals. So I'm just going to add a couple more layers so that we can see it in action a little more. And if I figure out how to do the time lapse, I will do that again. Alright, so I've added a couple more layers. So as you can see, since it is a bit slimmer, the angle is more steep compared to any larger designs of this. But also, as you can see, technically you could use target blocks for each of these layers, but for the sake of, I guess, cost efficiency, it's still a little better to alternate with the between using the redstone dust and the target blocks. But technically you could use the the target blocks on each layer. So now I'm gonna set up the hopper clock, like we were saying earlier. And again, like I said in my last video, for both of these designs, actually, you can hook up a etho hopper clock if you want, so you can adjust how quickly pulses happen. With these spiraling designs, it's not as important for the timing to be right. Unlike my previous video, with that one, it kind of needs to look like a full loop, right? So, but with these, since it's kind of a continuous pattern going upward, it's not as important. But if you want it to be kind of smaller pulses instead of like 3 or so lights connected at a time, then you can do that with a etho hopper clock. So yeah, that was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I explained things well enough for you. And let me know again. I know I said this in my last one, but let me know if you want more videos like this. I'm still kind of working out what kind of content I'm going to be making for you guys. Hopefully I'll be able to provide a bit of a mix. Yeah, and if you think this design was cool or want to, and you plan on using it in your own build, let me know. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Yeah, alright. Have a good one, guys. Please subscribe and leave a like, and see you next time.